Namaskrityanantiyanuttam Devim Sasam Vyasam Tato Jamadire Yasya Prayeshu Vadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevya Bhagavitva Bhakti Bhavati Naistaki Krishna Swadama Bhagate Dharma Gyanana Visa Kalonashadri Shamisha Purnarkadadadita Sarvedata Sarami Shiva Uttamishite Sarvasamajajasya Anachasya Krishna Toya Bhagavata Vivu Sarvachaya Pratishogi Pratishogi Nanartakaya Premaya Bhagavata Krishna Vishyanga Jayate Gayate Gopi Krishna Pratashyamavata Ki Jai. So this is Saturday Srimad Bhagavatam class. This is April 26, 2025, from the third canto, chapter 32. Kapil Muni is finishing his teachings to his mother Devahuti on Sankhya Yoga and Bhakti and Jnana and Yoga and all different things. So now he talks, chapter 32, about the path of karma. Let me say, Shamana, it's samskar. Very hard to change samskar. So, this chapter talks about sakama karma and nishkama karma. And Kapil Muni criticizes those who are not devotees. Now he describes the results of doing dharmic activities with material desire, kamartha dharma. And so you go to moon planet, hang out for a while, come back. That's the reward for doing good karma. Verse number 2. Bewildered by personal desire, one rejects the worship of Krishna, instead worships devatas by performing yajnas and pujas and sacrifices. Following such faith, one dedicates oneself to the Pichis and devatas. A person goes to Chandraloka, drinks samaras, and comes back to earth after 10,000 years. Now how the whole universe is destroyed. Visualize Ananta Shesh at the end of Rama's day, and all the planets attained by dharmic grihastas are destroyed. You can see what he says about this also. There are two kinds of dissolutions. What does dissolution mean?
Destruction. Fine. Destruction.
Annihilation.
Disappearing. Unmanifested. Visually destroyed, but not destroyed. Absolutely. Because everything is eternally, material energy is also eternal. There are two kinds of dissolutions. One dissolution that takes place at the end of Brahma's life. At that time, all the planetary systems, including heavenly systems, are dissolved in the water and enter the body of Govardhana Vishnu, who is lying on the Govardhana ocean, on the bed of Ananta Shesh. Another dissolution occurs at the end of Brahma's day. what does this remind you of? Is the Krishna Brahma's two dissolutions?
Every day sleeping and
Remember what he said?
Yes.
Brahma's dissolution at the end of his day and end of his life. When we fall asleep at the end of the day, this state dissolves. Everything, we go to another world, a subtle world of subconscious mind, dreams, etc. Whole different reality it can be also. You could be flying like a bird, or swimming like a fish, or running from a forest fire. All different elements will manifest in a dream. And then the whole daydream ends at death. They go hibernate for a while, figure out what your next dream's going to be, and wake up in a new body with a new dream. Start again. So when Brahma rises from his night, the lower planetary systems are again created. Bhagavad Gita states the person who worships devatas have lost their intelligence. What's that verse? Kamai's Tice. Yeah. They're stupid. Less intelligent persons don't know, even if they go to heaven, they'll all be annihilated. They have no information that eternal bliss of life can be attained. Dummies. So let's look at verse number 5. Read the Sanskrit.
ये स्वधर्मान् दुह्यन्ति धीरा कामात् हेतवे निस्सङ्गा न्यस्तकर्माणः प्रशान्ता शुद्धचेतसः.
These are good guys. Smart guys. Intelligent people who don't care about art and calm offer all the results to Krishna. They're free from attachment, they're peaceful and pure in consciousness. This is Kapil Muni in this verse is telling his mother about Nishkam karma. Prabhupada gives a commentary on this verse, nice one. Verse number 5 of chapter 32 of 3rd Canto. Those who are intelligent are of purified consciousness, are completely satisfied in Krishna consciousness. Freed from the modes of material nature, they do not act for sense gratification. They are situated in their own occupational duties. They act as one is supposed to act. The first class example of this type of person is Arjuna. Arjuna was a fighter. Generally, kings fight to extend their kingdoms, and they rule for sense gratification. But Arjuna declined to fight for his own sense gratification. He said he could not get a kingdom by fighting with his relatives, so he didn't want to fight with them. But when Krishna ordered him and convinced him by the teaching of Gita that his duty was to satisfy Krishna, then he fought. So he fought for the satisfaction of Krishna, not for his sense gratification. So one might say, you're a Grihastha, I'm just a married guy. You have a wife and kid, I have a wife and kid. What's the difference between you and me? You're enjoying your wife, I'm enjoying my wife. So what are you going to say? Now you're on the spot. Want to hear the answer? Or I have the answer, but I want you to have it.
We are doing another
It's
guidance.
in line with what we discussed already.
Like
Give me a tip.
Arjuna is fighting for pleasing Krishna on the order of Krishna. But while others are doing.
What did he just say? Dharma viruddha kamosmi, what does it say?
Dharma viruddha kamasmi bharatarshava. Means dharma.
Explain this verse.
Yes, Guru. Means that kama which is not against dharma is Krishna. He says that kama which is not against dharma is me. Similarly,
So the challenge was, what's the challenge?
you are also married, I am also married, you are also enjoying with your wife, I am also enjoying with your wife. So what is the difference?
See, a Krishna conscious grihastha, an ordinary married guy.
Yes, Guru. Krishna conscious grihastha is doing according to the order of Krishna, and the order of Guru and Krishna, and he is following dharmically, following Krishna consciously.
And he's taking responsibility to raise his child as a devotee of Krishna as a service.
Yes, sir.
He's not just producing children to get name and fame, prestige in society. Oh, where's your daughter? Well, my daughter's in Germany. She's an executive in an international firm. Wow, you got a big daughter. You're a big guy too. And your wife is real big. Yeah, we're really big. So most you want children to increase their prestige. That's why they force them to work their tails off. Because they get so much prestige in society. My son's a doctor. Oh, big deal. But no, he's a doctor in England. Oh, not free to bed. No, he's in England. So the difference is your marriage is for Krishna seva. Your wife is a devotee, you're serving a devotee, that's service to God. Ordinary married life is like dogs and cats. There's no service to God there. Dogs and cats are populating the world, you're populating the world. Matter of fact, the dogs and cats are better. They don't abort their kids. You murder the kids. You have two, murder all the rest. So you're saying you're like me, I say you're a dog. You don't want to go that far, especially if he's bigger than you. If he's little, then you can tell. Because it's true. That's from. So Arjuna fought for the satisfaction of Krishna, not to expand his kingdom or for a sense gratification. Persons who work at their duty as a for pleasing Krishna are called nisanga, freed from the influence of modes of material nature. Nyasta karmana, which is in the verse, line 3. Nyasta karmana indicates the results of their activities are offered to Krishna. Such persons appear to be acting on the platform of their respective duties, but such actions are not performed for personal sense gratification. They're performed for the Supreme Person. Such devotees are called prashanta, which means completely satisfied. Shuddha Cheta means Krishna conscious. Shuddha Chit. Their consciousness has become purified. In purified consciousness, one thinks of oneself as an eternal servant of Krishna, putting oneself in that position of eternal servitorship to Krishna and working for him eternally. One actually becomes completely satisfied. Yes or no? No? Yes. As long as one works for personal sense grad, as we say this guy, sense grad, 4 regs, well, 4 fakes, 4 rakes, 4 cakes, 4 cakes of beer, 4 rakes, 1 cake for each rake. Cake is a big barrel of beer, it's called a cake. When it works for sense grad, it's got so many file servers. Sense fried, sense grad, KC, SPOG, IGM. He or she will always be full of anxiety. This is the difference between ordinary consciousness and Krishna consciousness. What's the most popular phrase in these books? Krishna consciousness. What's the most popular mantra every page of this book? Hare Krishna mantra. That is, you can't avoid that message. This is the Krishna consciousness movement. Amen. That's good, okay. So look at verse 9. So I have Brahma giving up his body, enters Mahavishnu. Antaryami of the whole material existence is Mahavishnu. Antaryami of this one universe is who? Yeah. All the universe in Bhumandal, the Antaryami is Garbhodakshay Vishnu. There's Shiradakshay Garbhodakshay and big Vishnu, Mahavishnu. So Brahma is dealing with the big one. Brahma enters the Mahavishnu. Okay, look at page 7, verse 15. Brahma's got a big entourage because he's a big guy, just like the president of a country or prime minister. Has a big entourage, home minister, defense minister, certain ministers move around with him. So Brahma moves around with the Kumaras and sages and rishis. They all manifest together and they all unmanifest together. They all materialize together and dematerialize at the same time. So the commentary in the last paragraph says, what has been described here are Brahmas, sages, yogis, gyanis, kumaras who are devoid of bhakti in some particular universe. If they don't have bhakti, they have to merge into Mahavishnu at time of dissolution. If they have bhakti, they all get liberated. That's the distinction of this verse. The Brahmas and sages of all the universes have bhakti, thus attain liberation and prema bhakti, with dasya ras and other rasas according to their degree of bhakti. So like the Shrutis, they chant what they chant, Purusha Shukta, to wake up Vishnu every day. But some of the Shrutis were developing Gopi Bhav, practicing Raga Marg. So when Brahma got liberated, when they took birth in Boma Vrindavan as the Kanya Kumari, Braja Kanya Kumari Gopis, and got Krishna as her husband by Gandharva marriage right. He sold her clothes when they were worshipping Kalyani. Then next year later, he danced with them and became her lover, and exchanged garlands. And Gandharva right became, in their mind, they had the mind that Krishna is their husband. So these are some of the sages here. Some of the sages were in Dasyaras or Sekaras or Vatsaya, but these Shruti-charis, they are in Madhurati became gopis. That's described in the 10th Canto commentary of Vishnu Chakravarti, saying Brahmanda Purana or some Purana. verse 20. This describes how people are doing their Varashram Dharma. They go to Pichi Loka. I thought it's interesting. They go to Pichi Loka and meet up with their family members.
Yeah, it's interesting.
You sure want to do that? Your uncles, your aunts, your grandma, your grandpa. They're all up there waiting around for you. Let's hear what Prabhupada says about this. I don't think I want to. That's a very good encouragement to go back to Ghana. If nothing else gets you inspired, thinking of your Uncle Joe, may get you going. Having exhausted their pious results, they helplessly fall to earth. Their enjoyment is strawberry feed. So you meet up all your relatives and enjoy a good time in Chandaloka or Pichi Loka, which is Pichi Loka. Then fortunately you get to bail out and jump back down to the earth and start again. Hope you get it back together, Mahanidhi. So let's look at Prabhupada's commentary. Brahma becomes liberated is known to everyone, but Brahma cannot liberate his devotees. Devatas like Brahma and Shiva cannot give liberation to any living entity. As confirmed in Gita, only one who surrenders to Krishna can get free from Maya. What's that verse? 7:14. Daivi.
Daiviyesha gunamayi
Mama
maya duratya
Mamaye bhajante manaitam jantante. Only by surrendering to Krishna can you cross the ocean of Maya. Not any other devata or Devi. Brahma is the original living, created living entity. And after that, he creates the entire cosmic manifestation. Brahma was fully instructed in creation by Krishna. Here in this verse, he's called Veda Garbha, which means he knows the complete purpose of the Vedas. Brahma is always accompanied by great personalities like Marichi, Kashyap, the Saptarishis, the great mystic sages, 4 Kumaras, other spiritual events, personalities. But Brahma has no interest separate from Krishna. There's a phrase in this verse, what verse? Beta Dristi. Second verse. What is that verse? 13. See at verse 13? Beta Dristi, what does that mean? Bent vision, crooked vision. Beta means broken eyesight. Your glasses got broken. Can't see. So Prabhupada explained. Beta Dristi means Brahma sometimes goes crazy and thinks he's independent from Krishna. Sound familiar?
Yeah.
There's 10 crazy human beings sitting in front of me. They think they're independent of Krishna. They think they're an equal independent incarnation. Vishnu maintains, Rudraja destroys, Brahma creates. But all 3 of these personalities are avatars of Krishna in charge of different modes of nature. But none of them is independent of Krishna. This Beta Dristi means that Brahma has a slight inclination to think he's a big shot. How much inclination do you have? A lot. He thinks he's independent of Rudra. Sometimes Brahma thinks he's independent of Krishna. Well, what's true with that? He stole Krishna's boyfriend. He's cowed. He got slapped for that. Turn his heads into rocks. Roll his rock and roll his head, you know. He became Marsala. 4 mountains of Marsala. He got stepped on. He's lucky to run around, he steps on the guy. So you get Brahma consciousness, what do you have to do? Somebody has to stomp down your head. You're not supposed to put your head. Get the hell, man. You're too fat-headed. Sometimes Brahma thinks he's independent. For this reason, after destroying the material world, when it's again created, Brahma comes back. Although Brahma reaches the Supreme Personality of God as the first Purusha incarnation, Mahavishnu, who is the full transcendental qualities, he cannot stay in the spiritual world. So Brahma keeps coming back. Okay, so there's also Brahma and Vrindavan in the spiritual world. There's spiritual Brahma also. The specific significance of Brahma's coming back may be noted. Brahma and the great rishis, great master of yoga, Shiva, what they call Adiyogi, right?
Yes.
Are not ordinary living entities. They're very powerful and have all the perfection of mystic cities of yoga. But they have an inclination to try to become one with Krishna. Therefore they have to come back. Interesting. And the Srimad Bhagavatam is accepted as long as one thinks he's equal to Krishna. He is not completely purified and knowledgeable. In spite of going up to the first class Purushavatar, Mahavishnu, after dissolution of this material creation, such personalities again fall down or come back to material creation. Wow. That's pretty amazing. Brahma, Rishi, Kashyap, all these big munis, they saw a little idea of God. So they merged into Mahavishnu. A dissolution. Then when they manifest it, they come back again. See what a rarity bhakti is. It is a great fall down on the part of impersonalists to think that Krishna appears in a material body. One should therefore not meditate upon the form of the Supreme, but we should meditate on the formless, is what they say. For this particular mistake, even the great mystic yogi, the great stalwart transcendentals, also come back again when there is creation, which means manifestation. Avyakta. All living entities other than impersonalists and monists can take to Krishna Bhakti in full Krishna consciousness and become liberated by developing transcendental loving service to Krishna. Such bhakti develops in degrees, thinking of Krishna as master, friend, son, and last as lover. These distinctions in transcendental variegatedness must always be present. Great purport. I really like it. Okay, let's go on. Verse number 26. Read the commentary. Babaji read commentary in 774. Last couple paragraphs begins. Because Bhagavan contains.
Because Bhagavan contains both Brahman and Paramatma, by bhakti as sadhana to the Bhagavan, one achieves the perfection of bhakti to Bhagavan, becoming the Lord's associate full of prema, and as well one attains merging with the Lord, the perfection of jnana and yoga. On the other hand, by practicing jnana for Brahman or yoga for Paramatma, one does not attain the position of an associate of Krishna with prema. For this is nowhere stated in scriptures. Because of the formlessness of Brahman, it is said to be invisible. And because Paramatma also has a formless feature, he is also said to be invisible.
Okay, thank you. Now, read Prabhupada's commentary. I want to read before I read the commentary on this verse. I want to read a commentary on verse 20, which we already read about going to Pichiloka. Where is Pichiloka?
South direction. In the south direction.
Yeah, that's right. Prabhupada's translation of verse 20, chapter 32, third canto. Some materialistic people go to the planet called Pichiloka by following the southern course of the sun. But they again come back to Earth and take birth in their own families, beginning again the same fruitful activities of birth and end of life. Right, it's amazing. Once inaugural, always inaugural. So the next life you'll come back as a Chanda again. You go to Chandaloka, you go to Pichiloka, they were the Chanda. Ditya Chanda. That's why some people feel so familiar, have so much love for their mothers. There's some Indian boys, they go crazy in love with their mother, because she's been her mother for 100 lifetimes. 100 lifetimes of Maya. Wow. Maya Mama. Mama Maya. Even you say Mama Mia. You say Mama Mia. We say Mama Maya. Maya Mama. So Prabhupada says, a persons are elevated to higher planetary systems by worshiping the Pitris, observing all the rules of Varnashram Dharma. As soon as their good karma is finished, they return to this planet. They come back into the same family for which they had so much attachment. They are born, and true activities continue again to the end of life. They never prescribed rituals from birth to end of life. They're very much attached to such rituals. Petri, Paksha, Pin, Shrad. All this is for cementing your sojourn in the material world. Like once, Gopal Krishna Maharaj told my friend, who his son got married, he said, now your son is married. And he told the grandfather, he said, be careful, don't get attached to your grandchildren. Don't get attached to your grandchildren. So family attachment is very difficult. There's a verse in 5th Canto of Bhagavatam, Pumsa.
This is 3 प्रिया मित्र भाव मेरा
Shri Vitu Bhavita.
तयो मित्र
Shri
हृदय ग्रंथि माहो
तयो मिथो हृदय ग्रंथि
Priya Grandma away.
तयो मिथो हृदय
तयो तयो मिथो हृदय ग्रंथि माहो
Shri Priya Grandma. How we exchange it.
सुताप तविते
How we exchange it. That we there. So that's your how we are.
जनस्य मोहय महामति
I'm a baby. I'm the husband. This is my house. You're my wife. Cook the dinner. Good luck. Round you go again. What goes up must come down. Okay. Look at verse 33. On page 781, Vishnu makes nice commentary on this verse. See, the best Shastra explains the superiority of Krishna, or Brahman aspect of Krishna, because the full manifestation of qualities such as sweetness. It's not too much sweetness merging in the light. There's some kind of bliss, but it's not sweet bliss, it's like spicy bliss. Doesn't have any flavor. That's because it's Brahman, there's no qualities. Sweetness is a guna, the quality, Shresha quality. Madhurya is called Premananda, which is a very sweet experience. So let's see how Prabhupada's commentary is on this one. Try to read tonight at 7:01. Or maybe 5:01. I have to change my forecast. Okay, you ready? This is Prabhupada's commentary on 3rd Canto, chapter 32, verse 33. Ultimately, Krishna is the destination of all different processes. Those who have purified intelligence completely surrender to Krishna, accepting him as everything. What time is it?
3:44.
They might raise 350. I haven't changed my prediction. You just gonna make me eat my words. Another way Prabhupada emphasizes bhakti, he really stressed everything out. Everything knocks everything out except bhakti. There's all different paths, but for Prabhupada there's only one path. I love it. One can appreciate the absolute truth perfectly with all relishful pleasure only through one path, bhakti. As Krishna says in Gita, Bhakti Mama Vijanati. You want to understand Krishna in perfection, you must take to bhakti. The sensual pleasure derived from impersonal Brahman is very extensive and is called Ananta. Tad Brahma Nishkala Ananta. Brahmananda is unlimited, but that unlimited pleasure can also be surpassed. Yeah, maybe there's more unlimited. That is the nature of transcendence. The unlimited can also be surpassed, and a higher platform is Krishna. But one deals directly with Krishna, and the mellow and humorous reciprocation of bhakti is incomparable. Prabhupada Saraswati says, the Brahman pleasure is undoubtedly very great, but to a devotee the bliss of Brahman appears hellish compared to bhakti. And that's just, because the bhakti, the Kapila Muni is trying to ultimately lead everyone to bhakti. That's the idea. So, the other paths are for different people. So Kapila is preaching to his mother who wanted to learn about bhakti, so he's emphasizing bhakti. That was, now let's see. At the end of chapter, verse 41 and 42. Like the Bhagavad Gita ends the same way. Bhagavad Gita ends with who one should preach to. You know those verses? English?
And who is devotee?
Yeah, in the Gita, Krishna says, this secret teaching I've given should not be given to a non-devotee. Should be given to a faithful person, one who wants to hear, one who's devoted. So the Bhagavad Kapila Muni ends the same thing. This verse 41 and 42 describe who should hear this teaching. So look at Prabhupada's commentary. This instruction of Kapila Muni should be imparted by the spiritual master to persons who have taken Krishna to be more dear than anything, who are not envious of anyone, who are perfectly cleansed, who have developed detachment for anything other than Krishna. Prabhupada always brings it to the point of the Guru. I really like that. Prabhupada's purports are usually connected very much to Guru. Vishwanath, not so much. Sometimes they are. You'll see one purport is really interesting, connected to the Guru. But Prabhupada says, one must be prepared to offer the necessary respect and honor to the spiritual master. One should not be unnecessarily envious of God brothers or God's sisters. Unnecessary. You can be envious, but not unnecessarily. If there's a need to be envious, then you be envious. If there's no need, then don't be envious. That's what it said. One should not be unnecessary. It doesn't say one should not be envious.
I cannot understand.
Look at the word unnecessary on your phone.
No, I understand, but how possible? Because we always say
That means that there's room to be envious. That's the word unnecessarily. Means that there's a necessity to be envious, you be envious. Like for example, if your god sister is trying to attract your husband, It happens. Then you're going to sit back and say, okay, it's okay. I'm not going to be envious. You understand? You don't understand, you're really married.
No.
Very word's important. Why did you say you should be envious? Oh, what's your take? It's a useless word? For you it means one should be envious. But Prabhupada doesn't say that. Unnecessarily. So why did he say unnecessarily? What's your answer going to be? I don't answer.
No, I don't understand.
Well, go back to kindergarten and start over. In other words, there's like, one should be angry.
Yes, this I understand.
So how is you're angry?
If someone offends the devotees, we should be angry.
So everything has its use in the proper situation. Lust, anger, greed, envy, all can be used. This is described in Madhurya Kadambini. Vishwacharya said we should use lust for what?
In the service of Krishna.
That's the answer for everything.
Like to produce children who are Krishna
No.
conscious.
For fulfilling.
Vishnu says in Madhurya Kadambini, we should be lusty to hear Hari Katha.
Greedy also,
This is from Madhurya Kadambini.
yes.
And greedy for the service of Krishna. Very interesting. One should not be unnecessary envious of God brothers or God sisters. Rather, if a God brother is more enlightened or advanced in Krishna Bhakti, one should accept them as equal to the Guru. And one should be happy to see such a God brother or God sister advance in Krishna consciousness. But we should always be very kind to the general public in instructing Krishna consciousness, because that's the only solution we're getting out of Maya. This is the third canto of Bhagavatam. Prabhupada wrote the third canto in around 1970, 72, 73. He founded ISKCON in 66. He came to India with the first canto. He got the third canto about 72 after a few years. So he's writing his experience of Krishna devotees. It's not just writing out imaginary world. You know? So Prabhupada said, I'm writing these books. What did he say? He said, who are these books for?
For people, public.
What did Prabhupada say? He said, I'm writing these books for my disciples. You want to know me, study my books. Same applies to me. You want to know me, study my books. How many can raise their hand and say, read all my books? Nobody. I'm not going to ask you to raise your hand. I don't want to embarrass you. I have 28 books. But he's writing these things because it's reality. That we become envious of our God sisters and God brothers. So Prabhupada's saying, we shouldn't be unnecessarily envious. We have a necessity to be envious and be envious.
I remember that in Prema Bhakti Chandrika, Narottam Das Thakur speak about this, and all anarthas can be engaged in Krishna consciousness except envy, because envy means I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, so please correct me. Like you explained that envy means when you see that someone is doing something nice, and you are not doing that thing nice, and so you want to destroy that person because he's in somehow superior. And so this can never be applied in Krishna consciousness. And for this reason, Narottam Das Thakur said all anarthas can be engaged, like anger, greed, all can be engaged, lust, everything, but envy no. So how envy can be engaged? I cannot understand.
It's not engaged.
I mean, used in a positive way.
It can be a feeling. It doesn't mean destroyed. You have a feeling that you're envious of someone.
Because also in
It's
Vaishnava
not, I'm not saying it's Krishna, service of Krishna. She's probably saying, listen,
Yes, I don't agree.
one should not be unnecessarily envious of God, brother.
But a Vaishnava, one
Well,
Vaishnava
listen,
Parada,
this one I'm
how
saying,
possible?
this one I'm
I don't
saying.
understand. Yes.
He's saying that there may be some time where one feels envious of a God, brother. We're not talking about service to Krishna. We're talking about the appearance of a feeling, because we're conditioned souls. So so that's all we're saying. We're not talking about narcissism or anartha or using Krishna service. We're just talking about mentality that devotees can have because we're conditioned souls. We can be less, we can agree. Okay, we can use all these things in Krishna service except envy. I agree with that. I'm not arguing that point. I'm just trying to explain what Prabhupada means by unnecessarily. So there should be, sometimes there's a reason, like I told you. It's a reality, sometimes somebody tries to take, you're not trying to destroy it, but you're just feeling envious. Envy doesn't always mean killing someone, destroying someone.
But because one Vaishnava Parada is to become envious of devotee. So, or also not to be happy to see devotee. Is all Vaishnava Parada. So how can be necessity? I cannot understand still. I'm very stupid.
It may arise in the mind of a devotee, that's what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
I'm not trying to say it's a devotional principle.
Okay, now I understand.
So he's probably trying to cool down our minds. Don't be unnecessarily envious. In other words, don't be envious, but there may be a time where you may feel envious. But you should know that's not good, but you may have a good reason to be envious. I gave you an example.
Yes.
If somebody's trying to, seduce your husband, some other gossips, they may get a little envious. It goes on, This is the material world. Everybody's an angel flying out of wings,
Thank you.
We're talking about verse 42 in chapter 32, right? That's real. This Prabhupada's commentary. As I said, it's all about the spiritual master. One word there in the comment, it's not there, but Shushu Abhiyataya. Where's that word?
41st verse last.
What?
41st last.
Yeah.
41st.
Oh, 41st. Okay, in 42nd verse, Prabhupada's also commented. The commentary is under 42, but it also includes 41. Okay, thank you. Shusha means faithful seva. It indicates a person who faithfully engages in serving the Guru. One should give personal service and all kinds of comforts to the Guru. The devotee who does so also becomes a bona fide candidate for taking this instruction. The word Bayar Chata Viragaya, where is that? That's in verse 42. Bayar Chata Viragaya means a person has developed detachment from external and internal material propensity. He's detached from anything not connected to Krishna consciousness. internally averse to material way of life. Such a person should be non-envious and should think of the welfare of all living entities, not only humans, but also living entities other than human beings. Trail doggies. The word of the third line, suche means cleanse, clean, internally, externally. Become internally cleansed by chanting Hare Krishna. The word diatom, where you see diatom, in the second line, Shraddha Chitta diatom, means that the Guru should offer knowledge of Krishna consciousness. One who has actually developed all the qualities listed in these verses is elevated to the post of devotee. Who has not developed all these qualities still has to fulfill these conditions or become a perfect devotee. So in this verse 41 and 42, give an idea of the qualities the disciples should develop. That concludes chapter 32. Now 33. They're just coming back later to read 7 o'clock. So the opening of verse 1, chapter 33, Canto 3. Prabhupada's commentary sums up very nicely. The system of philosophy described by Kapila Muni is a background situation on the spiritual platform. Therefore, this system of philosophy is described as city booming. Where's that? Oh, in verse number 1. Last line, you see it? City booming. People suffering in the material world because of material energy can get free from Maya by understanding Sankhya philosophy as taught by Kapila. By this system of philosophy, one immediately becomes free, even though in the material world one becomes Jiva Mukta, which means one's liberated even though staying in a material body. That happened for Devahuti, the mother of Kapila. She became Jiva Mukta. And she satisfied Kapila by praying, offering prayers. Anyone who understands basic philosophy of Sankhya will be elevated to bhakti, to become fully Krishna conscious or liberated, even in the material world. That's a pretty far out commentary. Wow, really? Drives you on absolutely crazy. Sit down, boys. Eat some tomatoes. So I can get out of tomatoes. You're hungry. Be sure AK doesn't go outside and eat them up. So look at verse 4. This describes Krishna. The dogs should go outside or will call for tomatoes. They're wow, wow, wow. Krishna says, as a baby, Krishna sleeps on a banyan leaf at the time of destruction of the universe. The sweet pastime, Krishna sucks his big toe. Why? So all intelligent people will give other happiness and submerge in the sweetness of my feet. Thinking he would like to experience that pastime, Krishna sucked on his toe. Prabhupada gives a very sweet commentary on this verse. He brings in Radharani, the third canto of Bhagavatam. It's pretty cool. Pretty surprising. What is this describing?
Baby form of Krishna is seen by
Markandeya Rishi, 12th canto of Bhagavatam. Markandeya Rishi was meditating in the Himalayas. He said, I'd like to see the devastation. And all of a sudden everything flooded with the whole universe flooded with water. He was floating. And what happened then?
He saw Krishna in the banyan leaf.
He saw Krishna going floating in the river, in the ocean of devastation on a banyan leaf, a baby on a banyan leaf. He was flicking his toe. Then what happened?
then he entered the womb of Bhagavad Sai, I think.
He entered Krishna's body. Krishna inhaled, he went inside his body. That's really wild fast. There's something exciting to look forward to, 12th canto. Let's hear Prabhupada's commentary on verse number 4 of chapter 33. At the time of dissolution, Vishnu appears as a small baby lying on a leaf of a banyan tree, floating on the water. So if you can do that, Kapila, it's not very wonderful that you're laid down in my womb. You teach us that those who are very fond of children within this material world can enter into marriage and enjoy family life with children. They also have the Supreme Personality of God as their child. And the most wonderful thing is, the Lord himself licks his own toe. Since all the great sages and devotees apply all energy activities in the service of the lotus feet of Krishna, there must be some transcendental pleasure in the toes of his lotus feet. The Lord licks his toes to taste the nectar for which devotees always aspire. Sometimes the Supreme Personality of God wonders how much transcendental pleasure is within himself. Nowhere else is going. In order to taste his own potency, he sometimes takes a position of tasting himself. If you want Radharani. So Lord Chaitanya is Krishna himself, but he appears as a devotee to taste the sweetness of the transcendental mellow in himself, which is tasted by Srimati Radharani, the greatest of all devotees. So for Gopal Muni, it's a devotee having Gopal Muni in her womb. So Krishna floating on a banana leaf, ocean of this devastation, to Markandeya Rishi, to all the meditating yogis, end up with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Radharani. So that's why great Rasik Chans say every verse of Bhagavatam indicates Radharani. So this verse, devotee is saying, you become a baby at suck your toe. Shishirangri Pana. Pana means drink. Angri means toe. Shishir means baby. So this verse, the third canto, it seems like Sankhya Yoga, it ends with Radharani. And who sucks Radharani's toes? No, Chaitanya does. No, Kavi Karnapur. Who's Kavi Karnapur?
Wait. Wrote Krishna.
You guys are really slow. Shows how much you read my books.
And also this
Son of Shivananda Singh.
Who is Kavi Karnapur?
we wrote Astakale Lila.
What books do you write?
Krishna and Kaumudi.
Krishna Kamudi, printed by me.
Yes.
What else?
Bhakti Ratnakara.
Also
How about you at that point? This is Nara Chakravarti.
Ananda Vrindavan Chakra.
You ever heard of the Vrindavan Chakra? Who is his guru?
Advaita Prabhu, maybe.
Srimad Chakravarti. Who is Srimad Chakravarti's guru?
Advaita Prabhu. Advaita Parivar.
Wait a minute. So why you got the Kavi Karnapur?
Because he is Kavi.
Because he sucked on the toe of Radharani in the form of Lord Chaitanya in Jagannath Puri.
Yes.
It was 3 years old. And then Lord Chaitanya said, recite a verse. He recited a Sanskrit verse. It's in Chaitanya Charitamrita. So everyone was filled with this little baby. So this shows Krishna. I mean, shows Kavi Karnapur. So that's what I wanted to say. Anyway, ends up with Radharani, that's the main thing. That's the point I wanted to talk about. Okay. Shalila. So let's look at this verse in 33:7. Chapter 33, verse 7. There's a very famous verse in this chapter. Prabhupada quotes it many times in his preaching. But this is a particular verse where Vishwanath really takes the meaning of particular words and explains that they mean guru. He says, read the Sanskrit.
अहो बतस्व बचतो गरियान यचिग्वाग्रे वर्तते नाम तुभ्यं ते पुस्तकस्ते जुहुस्सश्नुरार्या ब्रह्मानुचो नाम गृह्णन्ति एते.
Aho Bhatta, how glorious. Even a Swapacha means a dog eater. Gariyan becomes worshipful. This word Gariyan also can mean guru. So the translation is different in Prabhupada's book. But this verse is, the way Vishwanath explains it, is very interesting. How astonishing. A dog eater who chants Hare Krishna becomes guru. All those who chant Krishna's name become respectable. They have already done in the previous life all austerities, yajnas, pujas, and sacred bathing, and study the Vedas. This is a particularly important verse to me personally, because in 2015, my Diksha Guru and Babaji Vaish Guru, Pandit Sri Krishnadas Babaji Maharaj, he asked me to become a Diksha Guru and to initiate qualified candidates, as he the term he used, qualified candidates. And I was hesitant to take up that seva. I want to have some higher confirmation, not higher confirmation, but some inspiration from Paramatma. So I discussed with some of my Shiksha Gurus about this request, this Guru Agya that my Guru gave me to become Diksha Guru. So I met with Sripad Vaishnav Das Babaji Maharaj, who is a famous disciple of Nandas Babaji, and also a very leading Vaishnava and Guru at Radhakrishna, Vaishnapada. He also travels in Russia and Europe and around the world preaching through translator. Maybe he knows English now, I don't know. And the second Babaji named Sri Ram Krishna Das Babaji Maharaj, who lives over by Newton Gera. He's also a disciple of Nandas Babaji. He's also a learned devotee. I said, what do you think about this idea? My order my Guru gave me, I should be Guru and give Diksha. They both quoted this verse and Vishwanath's explanation. He said, Vishwanath used the word Gariya. He said, are you a dog eater? They asked, are you a dog eater? I said, no, I gave up dog long ago. I never ate dog. And he explained, if Vishwanath is telling you you're a guru, you can be guru. This, and then they quote so many other things. And many other verses also. And they convinced me that you should give Diksha, you should be a guru. You have the qualification. It's your Guru Agya, it's your order of your own Diksha Guru. So I appreciate their instruction and their teaching, their encouragement. But it wasn't for 7 years. I waited 7 years after that. Did more bhajan and praying, and I had some different experiences which convinced me to commence the service of being a Diksha Guru in 2022 or so, I think so, 22.
21.
21? 2021, 6 years later. So, this verse is very significant for me and for all of you also, because this verse and Vishnu's commentary, the translation, one becomes the guru. If you want to chant Hare Krishna, one can become guru, especially if his personal Diksha guru gives the order, they should give Diksha. One should also get some. The term is called sadhu satsu. Sadhu satsu means the authority or the encouragement of sadhus. So my guru and sadhus, like Vaishnava Das Babaji and Ramakrishna Babaji, they gave me encouragement and further blessings to authorize my seva. So, that's so sweet. That's how it goes. Whatever Krishna wants is what Guru says. So, let's see the rest of this chapter. Verse 10, chapter 33. Kapila is summarizing everything he taught to his mother. He said, by bhakti, which I explained, which is easy, you will attain extreme goal of prema. Krishna says, although Kapila's mother is Nitya Siddha, he speaks her this way to teach the world. Like Krishna speaks to Arjuna. Arjuna is also Nitya Siddha, but Krishna is using Arjuna to speak to the world, to speak to us. Verse 23. Jayayati Bhagavad Rupam. Devotee meditate on the form of Krishna. Commentary in text 24. Devotee meditated with pure mind as she saw the strip of Krishna. She attained the characteristics and the symptoms which indicate she had Baba Bhakti. Verse 27. It says that because of continuous samadhi, devotee is free from all sense objects, even forgot her body. Let's see Prabhupada's commentary in this verse. That's a good idea. Forget the body. Maybe a little problem sometimes. What verse is that?
27.
27. Okay. Here's Prabhupada's commentary on 27. A great Vaishnava once said that one who has no remembrance of the body is not bound to material existence. As long as we are conscious of our bodily existence, it's well understood that we're living in under the laws of nature. When one forgets bodily existence, material life is over. So what does this mean? Forgetfulness is actually possible when we engage in Krishna seva. When one realizes one is the eternal servant of Krishna, then one forgets material existence. That's pretty nice. Realize you're eternal servant, you forget material existence. This forgetfulness occurs when one serves Krishna. Although he no longer works with the body for sense gratification, with family, society, country, humanity, one simply works to serve Krishna. That is fervent Krishna consciousness. The devotee always merges in transcendental happiness. Are you merged in transcendental happiness? And one has experience, no one has no experience of material distress. Okay. What's this guy doing? Stole that from our garden. It's all of a rose bush. This transcendental happiness is called eternal bliss. According to the opinion of devotees, constant remembrance of Krishna is called samadhi, trance. Are you in samadhi? No. If one is constantly in trance, there is no possibility of being attacked or even touched by Maya. Maya be afraid of you. As soon as one is free from Maya, from most of nature, one no longer has to take birth or transmigrate. To another form in the material world. Okay. Look at the commentary of verse 28. It said, doctors say, you're happy to get fat. You see, fat and jolly, right? Fat and jolly. Jolly means happy. I guess I'm not too happy. I gotta eat more. Eat more, I'll be more happy, I guess. Wrong. I like that. What other flowers said now? Prabhupada says this commentary. Devotee was always in a trance of transcendental bliss. The thought of Krishna was always fixed in her mind. She did not become thin. She was taken care of by celestial maidens. I have to get myself some celestial maidens. Take care of me, I won't be thin anymore. It is said, according to Ayurvedic medical science, if one is free from anxieties, one generally becomes fat. Your anxiety. No tension. That's our tension. Devotee was situated in Krishna consciousness. She had no mental anxieties, therefore her body did not become thin. Okay, that's very interesting. Okay. Well. It says that my Srimad Bhagavatam, verse 31, that she went to sit upon it. It's a perfection, most famous place. Let's see what Prabhupada says about this. She went to sit upon it. I don't know what that's all about. I don't know where it is. But. If you have money left home, they went north to the Himalayas, they went to Bengal, to the Ganga Sagar. Ganga Sagar is where the Ganga River meets the Bay of Bengal, the ocean. He's still living there today. Kapil Muni, you want to go meet Kapil Muni, you go to Ganga Sagar.
There's a big temple there.
You been there?
Somebody told me.
I don't know. Oh yeah, Kapil. The place called Ganga Sagar Tirtha. If you will go there over respects to Kapil Dev. They have it. So, I wouldn't advise leaving Vrindavan. But if you want to. So look at the end of the chapter, verse 37. 35 rather. Kapil Muni is there in Bengal at Ganga Sagar. You can go learn Sankhya philosophy from him. You want to? $35. Kapil Muni is still living there at Ganga Sagar and Samadhi. He's in Samadhi for the peace of the three worlds. He who hears the teaching of the third canto, Kapila Shiksha, containing a secret of meditation on Krishna, who teaches it, concentrating one's mind on Krishna, attains Krishna's lotus feet. There's Prabhupada's translation. Okay, this is the last verse of chapter 33, the third canto. Descriptions of the dealings of Gopal and his mother Devahuti are very confidential. Anyone who hears or reads this Bhagavatam will become a devotee of Krishna, who is carried, Vishnu, who is carried by Garuda, and therefore enters Vaikuntha, engaged in loving service for Vishnu. Prabhupada's commentary, the narration of Kapila to his mother Devahuti is so perfectly transcendental that one only hears or reads it, it will attain highest perfection of life to engage in loving service of Krishna. There is no doubt that Devahuti attained highest perfection in human life. Srimad Bhagavatam Mahaprabhu ki jai. So we finish the third canto together, and next Saturday we'll start fourth canto. Jai Shri Radha.